Woo! What's going on, guys? It is awesome to be here. My name is Ethan J. We are back. It has been a little bit of a time. How are you, stranger danger? Love bird, my swamp gumpies, dragonflies. What's going on? What's going on? For those of you that don't know my name is Ethan J. You are welcome to Off the Script. On Off the Script, we take time to spend some time talking about dialogue, conversation, word, piece, dribble. And what we do is we kind of go away from the realm of safe conversation. We talk about critical thought, we talk about political news, we talk about personal development, and more importantly, we talk about understanding news and learning about things from around the world from the perspective of a beginner. I'm learning things every single day, and you're on this journey with me, on this comedic ride as we go through the sunset. May we have some fun and learn some new things together. So it's an honor, privilege to have y'all. Now, I want to make this quick episode and give it a big shout out to Mr. First, my mother. I could not be anywhere without my moms. So without my moms and, being the hero that she is today, I could not be who I am. So thank you, Mom. Now, I watched episode 657, I think it was, with Mr. Theodore Von House, I forgot his full name, but Theo Von, man, kills it. One of the best in the game right now. And he talks about a lot of topics that I think the world really needs to address. Today on the episode, he talked about faith and the struggles of faith and the journey, man. This is a journey of being a human sometimes. He talked about a very powerful Bible verse. And in that Bible verse, it made me think. Now, for those of you that are not Christian, you don't have to be Christian to understand the beauty of having faith and having a creator. But nonetheless, let's continue with some good dialogue, man. You guys don't know too much about me, and I don't know too much about you, so I'd love to hear your story. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your situation. Where you guys chiming in from? You guys coming in from Africa, Dubai, from Germany, wherever y'all are coming in from, man. Let me know in the comments down below. 30 comes around. It's a big year for me. I'm excited. Big man, some grown numbers. Got a 3 in front of the digits now. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited because, I'm fired up. As Theo was, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. But then I thought about all the mistakes that I made, mistakes that I made in my past life. And just, not being where I want to be. Sometimes I don't know if you guys can relate to that. Being in a place where you're at a stage, but you're just not at that level that you thought you'd be at. And it made me think to myself, what do I do to rectify this situation? How do I get out of this method of thinking or train of thinking? And boom, December comes around last year. Got one of the worst surgeries, that I've ever had. It made me think to myself, man, God, I was doing everything right. I was trying to do A, B, C, and D. And maybe I, messed up a little bit with A and C, but I got B and D done right. And, I realized I was not doing everything right enough. Luckily, I've got an amazing family. Shout out to them. Put me on. And it made me learn about the importance of understanding and respecting your people around you. I put on a little bit of weight. The surgery had to go to the bone. They had to remove a little bit of the bone. And I thought to myself, I imagine how many people around the world go through these problems where they'll go through a surgery, they'll go through issues, and they never come back the same. Because the injury and the surgery takes so much time to recover, they never get that range of motion and that fluidity in their joint and that confidence in their muscle to take another step. So they don't. They make excuses. Hey, I'll go to the gym tomorrow. I'll go to the gym next week. I'm not even going to go to the gym. Let me have that donut. Right? That's what they think. And you see time goes by, years go by, meals go by, and next thing you know, Bob ain't even Bob anymore. Bob is now Bob and Dylan. It's 2 guys in one. And we can fix that. Now, jokes aside, obesity is a very serious problem in the world today. And the reason why I truly believe obesity is such a recurring issue is the amount of choice that we have in front of us today. Most of us know that refined carbs are the devil. Pasta, whole grain maybe. Nah, but that whole wheat, no. Sourdough, this is bad for you. That's not going to do right for you. But why do we pursue that route? Because we follow our taste buds. 4 months go by, guys. It's May 4th, 2025. I'm a personal trainer. I've been in the industry for 4.5 years. I know I don't look like it, but I try to go to the gym as often as I can. I get hit with the surgery. I don't know what to do. And I'm thinking to myself, am I ever going to come back? Am I ever going to be that guy who was doing double jumps, tucking my feet in, you know, up and under layups, in between the leg layups, kind of iffy, but still will make it work, you know, behind the backs, you know what I'm saying? Like we're talking fancy. Am I going to be that guy again? Am I going to be able to run, you know, sub 20, you know, 5K run miles, kilometers? It hits you, man, and sometimes you'll think to yourself, man, and the thing too is I feel like a loss makes you recalibrate a little bit in life, right? You lose a job, you lose a partner, you lose a loved one, you think to yourself, damn, every part of my world is slipping away. And why I'm making this video is to give encouragement out there for a lot of souls out there. This is an encouragement video. This is an encouragement video for anybody that's out there that's suffering right now. You're going through it. You're going through pain. You're going through anxiety. You're going through isolation. You know, you're going through pain. And if you're in a group setting watching my video, you're not going to notice that because you're in a group. But I know when you by yourself and you're looking at that video at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night, I know you're feeling pain deep down, bruh. Because, you know, the pain, it be felt. You could see the numbers, the pornography numbers rising. You could see the drug numbers going up. You could see the people getting fired from their jobs. And you know that something needs to happen. So we look to our leaders, we look to the people above us to try to give us answers. We look to the managers that we thought that we would teach us and put us on, and we thought about the schools that would have thought of giving us the education that would have helped us out in today's times. None of it adds up. And that's when we need to go back to God. We need to go back to God, we need to go back to rebuilding. Just because something didn't work for you in your past life doesn't mean that's not going to work out forever. I always tell people this right now. Let's say, for an example, you don't got a job. I've been there many times. I got a job right now, even though I'm not working the job. Recovering from the surgery. Different story. You don't got a job. But the thing that you have is you. Human, bruh. You a straight up 630 boned, 30 skeletal muscle, or no, 206 bones, 630 skeletal muscle, boned up human being, bro, with a bunch of emotions and a little bit of attitude and, stuff mixed into a huge concoction of human greatness. When you meet someone, there are soft skills, intangibles, a personality that you can portray to the person in front of you to get you to be a little bit interested in what you have to say. And this goes into soft skills and learning how humans work, right? You got to learn that skill, bro. It's important. It's really important to learn how to make people smile. It's really important to learn how to make people laugh. It's really important to learn how to have a little bit of charm. And I'm not saying I have it. I'm saying I did do something to manage to work all the jobs I've done up till now. So if I had a son, that's what I would tell him. I'd tell him, son, you're having a hard time. You're not making some money. I'm not paying anything for you besides your bare needs. At 16, he's going to have to get out there on his own. And I'll tell him, listen, go get a job. So, Dad, you know how to get a job? I'm going to show you. And this is exactly what I did. I walked up to my McDonald's. I pulled up. I got that resume ready to go. It was fresh out the printer, baby. Hot ink, just balling. And I pulled up to the cashier at that McDonald's. And I said, hey, are you guys hiring right now? And she said, I don't know. Let me check my manager. And I said, I just wanted to double down because I saw that sign on the front. And we looked over at the same time. So and as we look over, we see the sign. And the sign literally said, hiring right now. So I was on game. And long story short, I got an interview on the spot. I remember one thing from that interview. Make her laugh. Make her laugh. So I got her to laugh. I got her to, say what's up. And I stayed there for 2 years, bro. 2 years. And it was the 2 coolest years. My first legal job. Because everything else was definitely illegal before that. But it taught me something. It taught me fast food is terrible for you. Shout out to McDonald's. It taught me that, if you have the right soft skills, you can present yourself well. And number 3 is that modern day society, especially the male component of it, like the stereotypes, will mitigate men from being successes in business and politics because the skills that you're building directly in business and politics goes against what you learn when you gangbang. You can't be no gangbanger and walk up and be a politician right after, bro. You gotta choose the car that you want to be, man. You can't just be both, be one. The incongruency causes a conflict for you deep down, and you know it too. And we could talk about incongruency for a little bit. The hardest thing is wanting a better life for yourself, but never being able to get one. But why is that the case? I think it's because we do things that we know we shouldn't be doing. We spend time hanging around people that we know we shouldn't be hanging around. Sometimes you naturally just outgrow someone. Not because you're better or smarter or more intelligent. No, it's just because you outgrew the person. The conversation can't go farther no more. You guys have reached that level of growth. And sometimes it takes that little push to go find that new person, right? That new realm that you need to be in, the conversation that you need to have. Hey, I want to start talking about crypto. You know? I want to start talking about Forex. Or I want to start talking about UFT's medical surgeon requirements, right? I'm trying to figure out how Metrolinx works, right? Like what's the technology behind the infrastructure with the cards to tap? You know what I'm saying? Like you got learning different things. You know, you can't be the same kind of guy where you go home and you are okay with playing a sport, smoking a joint, and just being okay with that. I think we're even getting to a society today, where people are not building anymore. People aren't building projects anymore. People aren't building businesses anymore. People aren't building ideas anymore. We need to change that. You know, humans were made to create. We are creators. We're meant to communicate. We are meant to negotiate. You know, we are meant to barter with each other. And I think that when you take that away, you make things violent, you make things difficult to communicate with, you make it harder for humans to really assess their natural skill set. And that's what I teach here. I teach people how to communicate better, right? Hopefully make better content, which will be the next thing. And then to make cinematic content, which will be my next thing. But the whole point of it is, if you can't start with point A, you ain't gonna get to the next chips. So if you're struggling for a job right now, if you are down bad, and you're not like, the first step, bruh, is you gotta end the smoking, the drinking, the pornography, you know, the cheating on your wife, all that stuff, man. That needs to go, because the character stuff affects everything else. So let's say you fix the character stuff. You got it under wraps. You're solid now. Okay. Now the next thing you gotta think about is what you're building. And you gotta put all your effort into that thing that you're building, right? And there's two things that you really want to think about. This is just my advice. It might work for you, it might not. You want to build your relationship with God, right? Whatever that thing might be for you, the higher power, whatever. Like I said before, man, I'm gonna point you guys in the direction of the Bible, because the Bible makes a lot of sense for me. It might not make sense a lot for a lot of y'all, and it's all good in the hood if that's the case. It's not the end of the world. Jesus might not be for everybody, but I do think he has a remedy for everything. You know what I'm saying? And nonetheless, that doesn't mean that I still face problems or not. I get problems all the time, but that doesn't mean that God is not good, man. You know, Jesus brings a solution that I think the world needs. And on another note, this darkness that I'm sensing with the world and content creation today, this darkness that I see, the content, you know, like, when I mean by darkness, I mean like people just spewing just straight up negativity. It's like the first thing they turn on when they turn on their camera, they talking about hierarchy, patriarchy, you know, the Epstein files, where, you know, and it deserves to be exposed. We're talking about, you know, extortion happening worldwide. We're talking about mafias. We're talking about, you know, taxes being raised up around the world. We're talking about people being so... I see young guys that are younger than me, bruh, you know, talking about how they don't want to live no more. Bro, how can you say that? Like, how can you... And here's the thing, I get it, bro, because, like, life is hard when you don't have money. Life is hard when you don't have family connections. Life is hard when you don't have, like, you're not like Michael Jordan with the athleticism, right? Life is hard when you're not 6 feet tall. And I get it. But bro, there's so many possibilities in life. Like, it's insane that people are depressed. And I hope that this video goes out to the depressed folks, because I've been there myself. I hope I even watch this myself if I ever get depressed in the future, to remind myself that you have options, man. You have options. You're not done. The possibility is not over yet. Why do people close the door on themselves? Why do people give up on themselves? Why do people say, okay, it's never gonna work out for me, and they just stop? You can't let that be you, bruh. Okay, you out of high school now, man. You out of college now. Sister, It's all good. You didn't make any friends. It's okay. You didn't get into the clubs. That's okay. You didn't get into the program that you wanted to. That's okay. But you know what you can do? You can get out there and be the best version of you. Build that personal brand. Build that version of you so that when people wake up, they remember, bro, that was him. That's his voice. That's how he does things. You know, that's how he goes down. And then connect and learn and build and do your own thing. Build a project. The project that I'm building might not be something that you might be interested in. This is just what rocks with me. You know? So build that thing, man. Go out there and create. I always tell people, I'm always down to hear what everybody's creating, because I think that's what we were born here to do. We were never meant here to just sit here and just go work a job that someone else has created for us. You know, I've worked in sales for over 10 years. And this is on everything, you know, on everything. I know you can't put promises on God's name, so you got to let your yes be yes and no be a no. So I'm going to say this with the boldness of a yes. I've been in sales for about 11 years. On and off 11 years. Personal training for 4.5 years, right? Security for about 3 years, right? In between. And I'll tell you guys this, man. And there's a bunch of other jobs in between, man. I be Jonesy from 16, man. I'm really doing it. Don't put possibility and limitations on yourselves. How many days you're going to come by, you're going to get that termination letter, you're going to look at that letter and be like, damn, this is it, I'm done, I'm never going to be able to make it out of that. You know what's even crazier? Today we live in a day and age where people are getting let go worldwide all over, and no one knows about it because, you know, social media covering up their stories, people keeping it hidden. Man, people are going through down bad situations, but they're putting all their riches on their credit cards because they're trying to ball out. You trying to look good, trying to pretend like your situation not really as bad as it is. Instead, why don't you just let people know what it is? You're broke and you're going to try to figure out a way to get out of it. There's beauty in that, man. We as a society today think that once you get out the womb, you should be rich. That don't make no sense, man. That don't make no sense. Has it ever, like, unless you were born rich, you know what I'm saying? And in my opinion, roughly speaking, I can't really respect someone that was born rich, because you didn't have to do the things that another person had to do to become the person that you have to be. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all are coming from situations like me, man. I lost my dad when I was 3 years old. 4, technically. Don't even know the man. Didn't teach me a single lesson. Not even one. Maybe how to walk. I'll give him that. But I had to learn a lot of shit on myself. You know, just figuring shit out, just messing things up. And the beauty is you learn a lot. You learn a lot. You learn how to treat people. You learn what to say, you learn what not to say. But you also learn how to call people out on their bullshit. Because as somebody who closes big deals, I need to make sure that people are on top of what they're saying, because I'm on top of what I'm saying. There's no ifs, ands, or buts behind what I'm telling you. And that's a skill set. So young man out there, man, you know, I know I'm ranting right now, I'm rambling. Bro, go out there and smile, man. Be enthusiastic. Tell them how excited you are about the job. And I hope you get that job, young blood. I know how it be right now for these youngins out here, man. They kind of lost and hoping and just kind of wondering if I'm ever gonna find work. And it's like, bro, if I didn't find work back when I was 18, I would have been broken, man. So I'm glad that I did. God gave me a handout, so I hope He gives a handout to some of y'all. And in the same way, I'm gonna give another shout out, man. Shout out to Theo Vaughn. Episode 657, man. I said this before in this video, but I checked that video out. It changed my week, and I want to say why. It made me think about that conversation of wanting to change your life, you know? How many times do we go into this rut? Maybe we get into this career, maybe we get into this occupation, maybe we get into this relationship, maybe we get into this circumstance, and we're in this little thing. We gain this weight, we start doing a little bit of drugs, we do this, you know, this habitual decline. We stop going to the marathons, we stop running the Hydrox races, we stop being the best versions of ourselves. And then you look back a couple years and you wonder what happened. My video today is a video that's going to try to inspire you guys to say, yo, the ball is not done. The story ain't over until you put it and say it's over. Theo, episode 1. This was 10 years ago when he posted this, right? Goes online. YouTube at the time, and YouTube was not a really big platform at the time. It was just coming up. And he posted his first one. It was 34 minutes, man. 34 minutes. And all of his first, shout out to Theo Vaughn, man. He's the best, man. I got another respect for Theo. If you look at how ghetto his first couple of podcasts were, and you see how, this guy was just flowing. headphones on, blasting music on an iPhone while on a laptop camera, blasted in the corner of a room somewhere in his house. And he's just sitting there and just kind of like chiming and making this comedic podcast. Little did he know, 10 years later, he would become the third biggest podcaster in the world. Theo Vaughn from Covington, Louisiana. An incredible comedic talent, in my opinion. Why am I bringing this guy's story up? It's to remind you to say, bro, if you put in the 2 cents on something, right? Whether it's comedy or whether it's music or whether it's podcasting or whether it's going to the gym or whether it's building a business, maybe it's becoming a video editor or an electrician, and you go to town on that thing, and bro, you're doing that for years, something's gonna come from that. So guys, put in those years, man. That's what I'm telling y'all. A lot of y'all youngins, man, going out there causing violence, y'all are forgetting that God gave you this time so you can start putting your time into some stuff. Right? Like, go and create some stuff, man. Go build some stuff. God didn't give you that free time to go cause violence, to go out there and sin. Nah, man, go out there and build. And that's the energy that's on this YouTube channel. We're not out here to waste time. We're out here to build. We're out here to cultivate ideas. And also, point out other people's talents when you get the chance, bruh. Help pull somebody up. Pull somebody up, man. You see somebody going down there, hitting the 5th blunt for the night, pull them up, let them know what's up, man. We like the truth around here. We like the truth. We like to hear the words of God. We like to hear about topics that really are real. That are real to me and not real to you, but that are subjectively going to change the lives of everyone that listens to it. So why do we get addicted? Why do we get obsessed? Why do we, get so depressed when we lose our jobs? That one probably is the most understandable. But why? And what do we do, when we get into this habit of smoking weed all the time, drinking all the time, being in this place of isolation, this place of darkness? Let me tell you something. I think that if there was an enemy, if there was some darkness, that the darkness would want you to be by yourself, right? Because you go out there and you're out there drinking in a little corner. You're not useful for anybody. You can't help nobody. You can't be no blessing. You can't even call for help. You're in this corner and you drinking it down, bruh. Just intoxicated. Your right is left, left is right, up is down, down is up. You can't even see the wall, but you're facing it. It's crazy, And times like these, you get into these levels of degeneracy. You start to realize why order is so important, man. Discipline is so important. Why telling these kids to not smoke and drink is so important, because it changes lives. It changes lives, man. And when you're young, it's cool to kind of like mess around and go out there and live a little bit. It's cool, man. Go out there and live a little bit. Well, I think what we're seeing today, there needs to be a revolution, man. There needs to be a change, because not only are these kids getting into some stuff that we never had when I was growing up, but they're being milked by the government. We got cannabis stores on every single corner of the street. We got LCBO stores on the corner of every single street. These kids have access to drugs that I would have never had I wouldn't even be able to check the potency on these drugs, let alone the shit that these kids be putting down. Some of the violence that's been going on, man. It's like, because of the economic crash, I can kind of see that things are going so hard on these kids. They can't find jobs. Jobs are being cut. So now they're going out there and just doing crazy shit. To each other, to the elders, to women, to kids. And it's like, nah, man, I gotta chill, man. I gotta chill. We gotta be better. I made this little page because I wanted to talk more about truth. And not just truth, but sometimes we run away from what's going on in the world today, and we focus on the things that how we feeling, just because the high gets us away. The drugs, they make us feel good. That 50 Cent, that music video, it makes us forget about things, But I think we can't do that. We as a people have to be critical, because it's the critical thought that makes us change lives. It's the critical thought that makes us think differently. And I'm gonna tell y'all guys what I learned today. Every week on this podcast, I'm gonna bring y'all some news from around the world, where we're gonna take a beginner's perspective on critically thinking about the news that we're being told, so that way we can not only have perspective and gratitude to God, because He gives us peace and safety and equipment and opportunity to be great, but we also get to pray for the brothers and sisters around the world that are going through conflict that aren't getting the media coverage. And that's part of what this podcast is all about. The Ukraine and Russia war, February 24, 2022, ongoing 2026, ongoing to this day, 4 years in the game. 4 years, millions of lives. We're talking hundreds bare minimum. Down the drain. Strait of Hormuz, blocked in March 2026, massive global prices increase around the world, right? Oil prices going through the roof. Gaza, the conflict in Gaza, millions being killed in Gaza, wiped out, replaced with a future tourist destination. Genocide, we're not talking about that. Sudan civil war, people dying in Sudan, we're not even talking about Sudan. People out in Africa, April 15, 2023, Yemen, 2014. The Myanmar civil war, February 21st, 2021, Eastern Congo conflicts, 2022, still ongoing today. The Haiti crisis, massive ongoing violence from 2023, and it's still going on today. It's an uproar in the country. There's gang violence happening all over. You see, this is the world that we're living in today. And yeah, there's a correlation. These are third world countries, some of them. Places that are difficult to live in. But sometimes we need to understand that we're not too far away from what could happen. And the same kind of darkness that's around the world, man, that energy is going to spread around, bruh. We praising the murder and the death of people that are overseas, not knowing that darkness is going to come over here. Those soldiers that are dying overseas, man, they shouldn't be going overseas, man. That war is not a war that we should be fighting. A guy that started a peace council is now out there causing war. He's going out there causing war, starting war with nations that he didn't even need to be around. Meanwhile, his dad was a real estate mogul, man. You're telling me that you needed to go out there and cause all this? He needed to go out there and do all this? Nah. These people dying out there? Nah, man. And guys, my battery is dying. I was gonna make this a little bit longer. I'm gonna make this short and sweet. Today, with the doomer content that's out there today, with the depression that's going on today, with the addiction that I'm seeing happening all around the world today, with the drug, opioids problem, cannabis, all the things that I'm seeing, right? And it goes even further, right? The souped up stuff, the stuff that has shit in it, the Fenty, right? We're talking about that, the bath salts. We're talking about all the stuff that's out there that's causing people to find hope in substances other than finding relief in their family, their faith, and their God, and the projects that they're building. It's a scary time. It almost feels like the government isn't even looking out for you, not even protecting you. But in everything that you're doing, man, this is the moral of what I want this podcast to be about, is encouragement, bro. Comedy, encouragement, and learning about the news that they're hiding from us. That's what this channel is all about. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in your ability to ask deeper questions. Guys, when I got through the surgery, I was so upset because 2025 was the worst year of my life. 2025 was by far. It was an L after L after L after L. You know me, I'm moving like a tank. I ain't gonna let an L take me down. I'm gonna laugh a little bit. I'm gonna wipe off the blood. And I'm gonna swing back. That's how I roll, right? But you take a moment to kind of really accept the loss. Job losses, whatever. And when I thought about it, I really thought to God, I said, God, let my work be your work. Let my ministry be your ministry. Let my words be your words. Whoever needs to be reached. Whatever within me is holding me back from being the best use for you, then remove it. And immediately I started to think about the lives of other people. Because we can get so quick into this me type of thinking. It's all about me. But when you start to realize that there's a girl that got killed in Palestine, who lost her brothers and her mom, and they probably have one family member left and he's like dismembered. It kind of makes you really think twice about the privileges that we have here. Right? To be a little bit more grateful, appreciative, and to question our leaders a little bit. What's going on with what's going on overseas? What's going on with the money that's being sent out to Ukraine? What's going on with with the money that's being sent out to these countries that we're not getting recollection from? Why is this happening? What's the news? What's the news behind the immigration? Why are Canadians not doing the jobs that immigrants should be doing? These are the questions that I want to ask on this channel. Because I know I don't want to believe that Canadians think they're too good to do these jobs. Is AI really taking all the jobs? Is AI really stealing all of our jobs? These are the questions I wanted to ask myself, man. And coming back to this podcast and coming back from the surgery. I got the surgery done in December 2025, guys. It's May 4th, 2026. It's officially been 5 months. This month is my favorite month for a lot of reasons. But it's a moment to just really thank God. And if anybody's out there that just is recovering from a surgery, I know how it feels like to come back from a surgery and almost feel like you'll never be the same. Your bones shattered, muscles, tightened up, scar, massive 24-inch scar, 17-inch scar, you know, you just think that life is over. And it's not. Even if you get fired from your job, life is not over. Even if your partner cheats on you, your life is not over. Even if you think that the last thing that you ever did was going to be the last thing you ever did, or maybe you bombed on set, maybe you bombed on stage, maybe you got rejected from a girl, your life is not over, man. Your life is over when you morally decide to become a degenerate. And you say, every single day, my actions will not change, so I might as well just say F it all, and I'm just going to be degenerate. That's when you know that you've given up. But if you stand up and you build the project, you build the thing that you are building, then you're going to get somewhere. If your boys know that this is what he's focused on, this is what he's building, every day you're going in, and they don't need to know. You can go in and put the work in, but you're putting in this work. You're praying to God. You're building the project. You're making the moves. You're chopping the shorties, you know? You're lifting the weights, you know, all jokes aside. You're doing what you need to do. You move yourself in the right direction. And young man or young woman that's watching this video, that's all you can ask for sometimes. You know, learn the computer science if you're in school. Learn the data, science if you're in school. Learn the analytics. That's going to help you out a lot. I wish I was there if I was back in high school now. That's what I would have pursued. Right? Have a little bit of comedy. Lighten up a little bit. Don't take everything too seriously. Not everything is worth the fight sometimes. You know? Love your mom. Love your father. Love your family. That's God. That's angels. And they might not be the best, but love them anyways.